With the recent news coming out of Crucible Industries, a lot of you folks have been asking us what's going to happen to your favorite knife steels. For instance, is MagnaCut going the way of the dodo? Let's talk about it. This and more in today's episode of Knife AQ, episode 196 of the series where I answer all your questions, sharp or dull. Let's get into it. All right, everyone, David C. Anderson here coming at you from the KnifeCenter. Welcome to the show. If you are new to it, what we do is we do take your questions and we pull those questions from the comments section below these videos. So if you got a question and you think it merits inclusion in a future episode, leave it in the comments below. This week, many of you, as alluded to before, have been asking about what's going on over at Crucible Industries. Too many to count, obviously. They're probably surrounding me right now. But pulled one of them to read off to you here from Woodsy5326. Hey DCA, have you heard about the recent financial issues Crucible is currently going through? What are your thoughts and concerns going forward? How will this impact the industry and availability of CPM steels, in your opinion? Yeah, so the news coming out of Crucible right now, they've issued what's called a warn notice to their employees at the, I believe it's the Syracuse plant. I should have had this written down. Basically stating there's a possibility of closure of the plant in 90 days from when they made the announcement. And that's something that they're required to do under New York state law. And this is, understandably created a lot of sturm and drang amongst the knife sphere because the sheer number of different high-end knife steel products that Crucible is responsible for is dizzying. I mean, so many things. On the tip of everyone's tongue, of course, is the hottest knife steel around right now still, which is, of course, is MagnaCut, like on this this exclusive Best Tech slasher right here. Fantastic steel, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, the S series steels, so your S30V, S35VN, like on this Conspirator, S45VN, S90V, S110V, all of those stainless steels are could be affected by something like this. 20CV, of course, as well. Crewwear, another option right here. I'm just going to show a few more CPM steels while I'm at it. M4, hugely popular. 3V, 4V, CPM 154 and CPM D2, the powder metal versions of those steels, all come from Crucible, and more exotic stuff too, like the 15Vs and such, your Rex 121s, 10Bs, all kinds of stuff. So let's peel it back a little bit right here. They are trying to turn the ship around, from what I understand. They're exploring Chapter 11, which is something that allows reorganization, which could allow them to shed debt, reorganize workforces potentially. They could get bought out. There could be a investor come in, or another competing steel foundry come in and purchase the rights to their steels. I don't know. In fact, a lot of this is very much still conjecture. We're still waiting for more information to come out. But the interesting thing about this, there has been an update from Niagara Specialty Metals, and they're actually a big part of the production of all of these Crucible steels. Niagara is actually the outfit that takes what Crucible gives them and turns it into the products that knife makers and knife producers will then buy. So the raw material comes to Niagara. Niagara turns it into stock that they can sell, which can then be turned into knives and all that sort of thing. And they had an update. They shared this on Blade forums pretty much the day this news broke. And I'll just read it off to you here. Or parts of it in any case. We've taken proactive steps to maintain a strong supply chain during this 90-day period to ensure uninterrupted service for the cutlery industry. We've already placed orders with Era Steel, Carpenter Technologies, Elwood Quality Steels, and Universal Stainless, who will provide the same high-quality products and the same exact chemistries. We have been processing their cutlery under aerospace alloy for several years. Quality's been outstanding. Although there may be a brief adjustment period during this transition, we're committed to minimizing disruptions, maintaining service, product quality, ... It's also important to note that Crucible Industries is making efforts to remain in business during this process, so they may come out the other side of this just fine. We have steel on order with them, and they are continuing to processing everything they can. So, bullet points, they're not shut down yet, so they're still making stuff. There is a lot of stuff out there already, both available to purchase by a knife supplier or knife creator. And there's a lot of stuff that knife manufacturers have bought already and is sitting on their shelves waiting to be turned into knives. So crucible bladed stuff is not going to just disappear overnight. Furthermore, they do have other manufacturers or other partners that should be able to continue to make this stuff going forward. There's some implications in the way this was worded that make me wonder, does Niagara actually have the exclusive rights to market the name or these steels under those names, in which case that would make sense that they could use another supplier coming into them, such as Carpenter, who of course also makes steels for the cutlery industry. Hard to say for sure. That information is not publicly available. The bullet point is that I want to get across, though, is these steels, there's definitely a market for them because we are that market. we buy a lot of knives. And these steels aren't just going to disappear. How they're made, who's actually making them may change. There may be some hiccups, an adjustment period, as Niagara alluded to in their post on Blade forums. But at the end of the day, this stuff, I think, will still be available in the long term, in the grand scheme of things. So yes, it's worrying. Yes, it's never a good day to hear about an American company closing up a factory. But what we're going to see on the knives, I doubt will change substantially, or I doubt it will change dramatically in any case. That's my 2 cents on this subject. So anyway, hope that helps to everyone asking the question out there. Next question comes from Diaz Jake. Question: before MagnaCut rose to fame, what was the steel with the same ratios of toughness, edge retention, and stainlessness, but all just slightly lower? Well, the reason that MagnaCut was such a game changer is because nothing else really did do what MagnaCut does right now. And if you're unfamiliar, longtime viewers of this channel have let us know in the comment section that they've grown tired of me explaining what MagnaCut is, but I need to for the sake of this.
I think some short-term viewers have said that.
Yeah. So MagnaCut is the first powder metallurgy steel that hits all three pillars of, or all three main characteristics that we think about when we think of knife steel performance, and does them all to very high degrees. Stain resistance being one, edge retention being the other, and toughness being the third. Across the board, the more you prioritize one or two of those columns, the more the third suffers. But MagnaCut, while there are steels that can outperform it in any one of those single categories, none of them can do all the same levels as high as MagnaCut does altogether. And I can't even think of one that specifically has like a better, or the same ratios, just less. If that already existed, MagnaCut would still have been a big deal, but might not have been as big a deal. But consequently, MagnaCut nowadays is what I consider to be the most well-balanced high-performance steel out there. It's not the absolute best in any one category, but it does everything so well that, and it can be treated either harder for more edge retention. It can take some of those higher hardnesses, or it can be left a little softer for even more toughness. And it adapts well to blades that require either end of that spectrum a little more than the other. So it's incredibly well balanced. It's incredibly versatile. And at this point, I think we can safely say the hype around it, while maybe a little bit overblown there at the beginning, is, it's lived up to its expectations, quite honestly. It's a very good high performance steel. Before MagnaCut came along, that category, I would say, of being like the most balanced stainless, high performance stainless out there, in my opinion, would have been S35 VN. And interestingly, at the same hardness, if S35 VN and MagnaCut are at the same hardness, edge retention should be about the same or very comparable between the two. S35 VN is also stainless, of course, but it doesn't have nearly the toughness that MagnaCut does. So the strength, the resistance to chipping, the ability to bend without breaking, that sort of thing. But S35 VN was, it was tough enough, even for some harder use outdoor fixed blades, where now like MagnaCut might be a go-to choice. So yeah, that would have been my choice. It doesn't quite hit the same ratios like you were asking about, but I think that was like the greatest all-rounder. S45 VN was really poised to take over from S35 VN, but the same year, or like less than a year after S45 VN started to debut and get talked about, MagnaCut came out and kind of stole its thunder. So it never really got the chance to to rise above, so to speak. Oh, for those of you who are doubting the same, at the same hardness, both of those steels have the same edge retention. Another credit to blade forms here. Laren Thomas, the designer of MagnaCut, had this to say. The two steels have roughly equivalent wear resistance at the same hardness. So if in terms of performance, if the MagnaCut was higher in hardness, it would have higher wear resistance and therefore resist edge wear better. So at higher hardnesses, it will have a longer lasting edge than S35. But in cutting tests where significant forces are applied, right, like rope cutting, higher hardness would make more difference, or the improved toughness make more of a difference if some chipping was seen on S35 VN. So there you go. Hope that helps. Well, that's all we've got to talk about today in our blade forum section of the video. Now we're coming to Damyr's buried treasure, where thanks to his question several weeks ago, we're going through the alphabet and picking out a brand we've never shown on the channel before. And this one, the brand I wanted to show you today, we're on the letter O today, and there's only one brand in the letter O that we've not ever shown at all. And that's Out of the Woods of Oregon is the brand, and they have a bread and bagel slicer. It's the only item of theirs we carry, and it was out of stock on the day that we're filming this. So here's a picture. It's $20. It's like a guided bread knife, essentially. So in lieu of that, I'm going to show a brand we have barely or scarcely ever shown on the channel, and that being Otter Knives. This is a knife you've probably seen. We've shown it like once or twice, I want to say. This is the K55, the Black Cat knife, the iconic Black Cat, about $30. It is a classic locking peasant style knife. It is a humble origins yet hard working device right here. This is the stainless steel version. Carbon steel is also available. Blade length is about 3.5, drop point, full flat grind, folded steel handle with a back lock essentially here. It's a very lean, svelte, yet hard cutting machine when it needs to be. And like I said, you have seen this. What haven't we seen from Otter, however? To tell you the truth, I had to go looking because whenever I think of Otter, the K55 is the only thing I think of. So I pulled a couple more things for you, and I first saw these about an hour before we were filming right here. So fun times for all of us. This is the 3-rivet folding knife. Very aptly named, because it's 3 rivets right there. Another slip joint. This is about $87, and the bolsters here are what really caught my eye. Yeah, the triple rivet on the handle is pretty cool, but that machining on the bolster, I don't even know what you want to call that, is a very cool, not just decorative touch, although it gives a bit more visual flair. It also feels really good in a pinch grip right here. I mean, that's just really, really cool. Gives you a little bit of extra traction and the knowledge that you're holding the knife right at the end too. That's pretty neat. Blade here is also about 3.5 inches, I would say. Carbon steel in this case. It's gonna be a simple carbon steel, full flat ground drop point. Vaguely Barlow-esque, I would say in this case. And these come with smoked oak wood handles here. Just very, very cool. The next one is also pretty interesting, coming in a bit more expensive. This is about $165, and most of that I'm going to assume is due to the large pieces of stag on either side of this handle. Not a cheap material these days. This is a locking knife. This is the C75, or sorry, C75 is the steel, which is equivalent to 1095. This is the number 5 safety folding knife. Longer blade here, almost 4 inches long, full flat grind on it. Lots of belly there at the tip, thin enough it's going to slice nicely, yet you've got a big meaty handle thanks to the piece of stag on this particular one. And as I mentioned, it is locking. This is the lock right here. You basically push that forward and that lifts the locking bar out from the back here, and then it closes. Feels like any other back lock, basically. I would say that is what it most feels like. And when you're done, do fold that back out so that when you open it, it will lock into place when you get into that open position. It's pretty cool. This one may have been sitting around a little while. It's got a little bit of patina on the bolster here. In fact, there is a factory installed fingerprint on this one. So there you go. That's our buried treasure for today, Otter. I really like this this 3-rivet folder, this slip joint. That is very cool. Anyway, that's letter O today. Now we come to the lightning round for today. Which first questions comes from Jacob. Question: has the knife steel industry reached its peak for steel performance with steels like MagnaCut, Crewwear, etc.? If not, what is the next best thing? I don't think in any human endeavor, while we may be at the peak of many of their things right now, historically, like, things just always get better. So have we reached the peak? We're at a current peak, but I'm sure there's a higher peak. And with MagnaCut, we know there is one, actually. This is kind of some information leaked a couple of weeks ago that I don't think was supposed to, but it did get leaked publicly. They're working on a MagnaCut line extension that is supposedly, and keeping in mind that this is a steel that is just in prototype stages right now, doesn't even have an official name just yet. So the description of this could change as they work on the steel, but purportedly they're working on a steel that maintains the toughness and stainlessness of MagnaCut while simultaneously increasing the edge retention. That would be a really cool trick if they pulled it off, and would almost, if they do it, would almost obviate the need for any other high performance stainless particle steel. We'll see how it goes. Have we reached the peak? Nah.
I think it was Bill Gates who said no one needs more than 16 megabytes of RAM.
At the time, that may have been true. Time marches on, don't it? Next question comes from Odd Savage. What will future knives look like? What will be their function? I'm betting they're gonna look something like most of these things right here on the table. Right? They're gonna be better and cheaper to make at the same time. And functionally, I think they will be intended to cut things.
Lightsabers notwithstanding.
Lightsabers. Would that be a knife, though? Not all cutting implements are knives, I would say.
Kind of like a plasma torch.
Gimme.
Would cut.
Do want. Yeah, I mean, how old is humanity at this point? There's still, there's still a function to knives now. I have a hard time believing any of us are gonna, anyone alive today, there's still gonna be a function for a knife the day you die. And well into the future, I'm sure. I find it hard to believe we're gonna suddenly not want knives anymore. Well, now we come to our final question of the day, which is, of course, our most seriousest question of the day, which comes today from Donko. Donko! Hi, DCA. What knife do you use to cut the dessert at the KnifeCenter Christmas party? Well, it's the weekend before Christmas. The holidays are upon us, so it's time to bring out a crowd favorite. You may know already what I'm going to say. You got to go with the carcass splitter. It's our unofficial channel mascot. We haven't seen the old girl in a while, so good to see you, friend. Good luck, dessert that decides to stand in its path.
I was expecting a liquid dessert.
You do that every night, though, so that hardly counts. Fun story. At my wedding, I actually cut the cake with a 20-inch machete. So I can't do that again. It's got to be something different like this. So that is all we've got for today, folks. Keep your questions coming, including, of course, your most serious questions. Drop them in the comments down below. Let me know if you've got some alternate answers. If you've got any other anything else to add to the discussion, drop those in the comments below as well. If you want to get your hands on any of these knives right here, check out the links in the description, which will take you to KnifeCenter.com. Where on some of these more expensive knives, you could split payments up into 4 easy chunks thanks to our new Sezzle payment option. And of course, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program so you can earn some free money to spend on your future knives. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We are signing off. See you next time.